Hey everyone, it's Lisa from the blog farmhouseonboone.com, and today I'm going to be sharing with you another What We Eat in a Week video. I love sharing these cook with me videos to give you some dinner ideas. We are a family of 8, so that is for reference what we are serving now. Of course, little Daniel, he's 4 months old, he's not eating anything, but maybe I'm eating a little bit of extra because I'm nursing him. But we have 6 small children. All right, let's dive in. Day 1, we did omelets. What I love about omelets is they are perfect for grocery shopping day. We needed to go grocery shopping, and so we had hardly anything left in our fridge, but we always have eggs, some kind of dairy to thin it out with, usually cheese. Now I get my cheese from Azure Standard. I've talked about this before, but I order blocks of raw cheese. I actually have it delivered straight to my house, so that way I don't have to go to all of the pickups. I will leave a link in the description box below. I also had some onions and like 1 or 2 peppers left in the fridge, and so this was a perfect we need to go shopping type of meal. I serve it with sauerkraut and sometimes even some fried potatoes. On day 2, we did chicken taco soup. I just cooked a whole chicken in the Instant Pot. I used about half of it for this soup and I saved the other half for a meal later in the week. I also had some soaked and cooked black beans in the freezer from an earlier meal prep day, so I put them in the fridge so that they could thaw out, and then I added onions, peppers, tomatoes, garlic, some organic sweet corn, cilantro, cumin, salt, pepper, and homemade bone broth, and then some of my chicken to make this taco soup. I topped it with avocados, sliced cheese, and sour cream. Day 3, we did burgers in Brussels. In my last What We Eat in a Week video, I showed me boiling up some Brussels sprouts, and I was told that the best way to cook them, by I think more than one of you told me this, was with bacon grease and maple syrup. So that is what I did. So first I fried up a package of bacon and I reserved half of it for a future meal, and then I cut up the rest, and then I fried the Brussels sprouts in the bacon grease. I added a couple tablespoons of maple syrup, some salt, some chopped onions, and just cooked them until they were browned and soft. Now for the burgers, we still have some grass-fed beef from the beef unboxing I did a while back. Instead of all just ground beef, I mixed half of it with the beef breakfast sausage just to add a little bit of flavor. I added some diced onions to the burgers, and then I fried them up. I had planned on doing some potatoes with this meal as well, but we got busy and I just didn't. Now I served it with a side of sauerkraut also. Now after trying this, because I was hopeful that the kids would now like Brussels sprouts because they didn't like them before, and turns out most of them still don't like them, so unfortunately this is not a win as far as the kids go, but Luke and I thought that they were way better than the other way that I make Brussels sprouts. So they are a win, just not for the kids, but they enjoyed the burgers and sauerkraut. Day 4, we did big salads. Now usually I do like to cook in season. That is typically what I do. I either go for what's in season or just what's cheap at the grocery store. If something's on clearance, that's usually what I'll base what I'm cooking around. And I know that greens aren't in season at the moment, but those big salads just sounded good. It's a nice versatile meal. I like that you can use these if you have different food preferences in your family. So for example, some of my kids like sauerkraut, some of them like avocados, some don't. And this way you can kind of tailor it to what each person likes. I like to make sure to add protein, so hard-boiled eggs are the perfect protein to add to big salads. course, if you have any leftover chicken from a previous day, that's also a good option. I used some more of my shredded raw cheese. I had some tomatoes on hand that I added, as well as the bacon that I reserved from the Brussels sprouts. I topped it with my homemade honey mustard, which is just equal parts mayo, mustard, and honey. I have the recipe for mayo here on my YouTube channel. I will leave a link down in the description box below. Another good topping for big salads, which we didn't do today, but is really good, is my cast iron crispy potatoes. It's kind of like putting fries on your salad, which is really good, especially if you have some thinly sliced steak with a little salt and pepper. It's really good. Day 5, we used the rest of the chicken from the chicken taco soup and made white chicken enchiladas. To make the sauce, I made a roux first with about 3 or 4 tablespoons of butter, equal parts einkorn. I used einkorn flour, but you can use any kind of flour. I stirred that together until it was all incorporated. Then I added a couple cups of my homemade bone broth, which I made from the chicken that I made on day 1 in the Instant Pot. Again, there's a tutorial for that here on my YouTube channel. And then I just let it bubble up until it got nice and thick. To that, I added some diced peppers and onions. Now for the enchiladas, I made my sourdough tortillas, the recipe you can find on my blog. Now I have been using einkorn flour exclusively that I mill in my grain mill. And a lot of you have asked me where I found the best price for einkorn berries. I finally did find the best price. They are around $2 a pound. I shopped around everywhere and this was the best price I could find, so I made you guys a link. It is bit.ly/einkornberries. That'll take you to a website called Mock Mill. They sell mills, but they also have einkorn berries. Now the way to get the cheapest price is to buy it in the 50-pound bag. That's what I've been doing. I filled those with the leftover chicken and some of my cheese, topped it with the enchilada sauce and a little bit more cheese, and then baked it in my oven. I served it with sliced avocado and sauerkraut. Day 6, we did sourdough biscuits and gravy. Now I haven't shared the official recipe yet here on my YouTube channel. I do plan to. I have my sourdough biscuits recipe on here, but for the gravy, I use einkorn flour, some raw local milk. Now, of course, after cooking it with the sausage, it isn't raw, but it's still so delicious. And then I cook it until it thickens up with the flour and the sausage and top it over the biscuits. We really like breakfast for dinner in our family. It's just another meal to me, and so this is a perfect dinner, but of course it's also a good Saturday or Sunday morning breakfast. You can serve it with sauerkraut or fried potatoes. All right, in day 7, we just did a vegetable soup. I had a whole bunch of vegetables in the fridge. I had a little bit more bone broth that I made from earlier in the week, and I just made a big pot of vegetable soup with green beans, corn, potatoes, carrots, and tomatoes. I had a few questions in my last video about leftovers. Since we work and school from home, we have lunches here also, so we do eat all of our leftovers. We just usually eat them at lunchtime, or if I make something big at lunch, we'll eat the leftovers for dinner. It's pretty much all the same kind of food for us. I also added a little bit of organic sweet corn that I had in the freezer. I served the soup with einkorn bread with butter, just a way to make a veggie soup a little bit more filling. Now, some keys that I've noticed with making einkorn bread is using less liquid than usual, because einkorn just doesn't soak up the liquid quite like a whole grain conventional wheat does. And also, I leave the dough quite a bit stickier than I do with other flours. It's a little bit harder to work with, but it does get a really nice rise. I'll be sharing more in the future on baking with einkorn. It is something that I've been doing for a couple of months now regularly, so I'm getting more familiar with it, and soon I feel that I'll have quite a bit to share. Right, well, I hope that you found this video helpful. I love taking you all along to cook with me because we're cooking anyway, and might as well take you along with me. You can find all the recipes, all the tutorials mentioned in this video down in the description box below. Also, if you are brand new to sourdough, I would love to introduce you to it. I have my free sourdough ebook You can grab that at bit.ly/farmhouse sourdough. Well, if you are brand new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I make 2 new videos every week on food from scratch, natural living, and a handmade home. Thank you so much for stopping by the farmhouse.